Chapter 57. Offences as to highways. Section 730. Obstructing highways. Obstructing a public highway is indictable as a nuisance. The way obstructed must be public. It is not necessary that the road should have been accepted by the authorities if the public have a right to pass, but it must appear that the highway was acquired by the authorities in a legal manner, or was dedicated by the owner, or that the public had a prescriptive right by user. It does not make the offence less that the public must pay toll to pass over the way. The same rule applies to the obstruction of bridges, harbours and navigable rivers. It is not necessary that the obstruction be over the travelled part of the way, if passage is made less convenient. The owner of the way may be guilty of the offence, provided the public right is established. Section 731. What is an obstruction? The placing on a highway and keeping thereon for a considerable space of time anything which obstructs or diminishes the public use is indictable. The following have been held obstructions: digging a ditch or ploughing across the way, allowing wagons to stand before a warehouse for an unreasonable time, keeping a boarding before a house for repair purposes an unreasonable time, erecting posts or fences appreciably within the limits of the way, blasting in such a manner that passers are endangered, making excavations close to the way, placing goods for sale in the street, causing crowds to collect therein, by shows, exhibitions, etc., setting up near the highway objects calculated to frighten horses, setting spring guns near it, extending the stress of a house into the highway, or erecting things overhanging it which endanger passers. Section 732. Intent and defences. Intent is immaterial in the offence of obstructing a highway, unless the indictment is under a statute for wilfully or knowingly obstructing a highway, when scienter must be alleged and proved. License may be a defence, as where telegraph posts are authorized by the proper authorities. Prescription because of the length of time the nuisance has been maintained is not a defence, for prescription does not run against the public. Section 733. Maintaining nuisance in highways by municipality. A municipality may be criminally liable for permitting a street to become so out of repair as to constitute a public nuisance. Section 734. Obstructing highway by railroad. Unless authorized by a statute, it is a criminal nuisance for a railroad company to lay its tracks across a highway. If authority has been granted, a failure to put the highway back in good condition, or keeping rails above the level of the crossing, habitually failing to give signals of passing trains, or unnecessarily obstructing a highway crossing by cars may be indicted. Statutory authority must be strictly pursued, but a certain degree of license may be allowed to a railroad company, because of public benefit. Section 735. Obstructing or polluting waters. Unless authorized by statute, the obstruction of navigable rivers by bridges or similarly is a criminal nuisance. It is also indictable at common law to obstruct the passage of fish in a non-navigable stream. Diverting so much of the water of a stream as to hinder navigation is indictable. A wharf may be a nuisance, or the obstruction of public docks. A vessel sunk by accident so as to obstruct navigation is not a nuisance such as to render the owner indictable, nor is a ferry wire stretched across a stream necessary which is for crossing of travellers and does not greatly obstruct the stream, and the owner of adjoining lands may erect such structures as he pleases between high and low water mark, if he does not hinder navigation. Section 736. Other highway offences. One responsible for the repair of roads may be indicted for neglect to do so. Obstruction or interference with the operation of railroads is made criminal by statute in some states. It may be an offense when meeting another person on a highway to fail to drive to the right sufficiently to allow him to pass in safety, each being entitled to the portion of the road to the right of the center of the traveled portion. Statutes also frequently punish riding or driving on a sidewalk. Racing on the highway, that is, engaging in a trial of speed of animals, is indictable, being dangerous to public safety. Wanton and furious driving which injures others is indictable under some statutes. There are many statutes and ordinances which set a speed limit for trains, vehicles, and automobiles in passing through towns and cities, or even anywhere on the highways, violation being punishable as a misdemeanor.